We talk a lot about the cost of failure, don't we? But have you ever stopped to think about the cost of playing it safe? Let's talk about this hidden tax on our careers, this thing we might be paying every single day, the high price of what feels like reasonable ambition. And that's the hook, right there. The thing about playing small is it rarely feels like you're doing something wrong. It doesn't set off any alarms, it just feels practical, smart even. It's this quiet danger that tricks us into thinking it's just responsibility. And that's exactly why we need to talk about it. So let's dive into our first section, the trap of comfort. We're going to break down why this trap is so incredibly tempting. Why does that comfort zone feel so right, even when deep down we know it's holding us back? Well, the rewards are instant and they're very real. In a world that feels so uncertain, you get certainty. When everything's chaotic, you get predictability. And you get approval from the people around you who also value safety. I mean, these are powerful, powerful psychological drivers. And let's be honest, who here wants to be embarrassed or judged? Nobody. So sticking to what we already know is it's a natural defense mechanism. It's a totally logical strategy to protect ourselves. And for a while, it absolutely works. It feels like you're just making smart, sensible choices. But here's the pivot. That feeling of wisdom, it comes with a pretty significant and often totally invisible trade-off. So in this section, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden cost of staying small. You see, what starts out as this protective shield slowly and kind of quietly becomes a cage. That safety you were looking for begins to limit your field of vision. It starts to convince you that the world inside your comfort zone is the only world there is. It's this slow, quiet shrinking of what's possible. And here's the crucial part. These costs aren't something you pay all at once. They add up, silently, over time. It's that opportunity you didn't apply for because you felt, almost ready. It's that skill that never got truly sharp because you never really tested it. But the most painful cost of all is that nagging, silent question that shows up years later. What if? What if I had just tried? Okay, so just recognizing the trap is the first huge step. But getting out of it, that requires a totally new way of thinking. So in section 3, let's explore a couple of actionable frameworks for intentional growth. The first framework is all about reframing what you're actually afraid of. We are so conditioned to fear failure, but what if we're focusing on the wrong risk entirely? Just look at this breakdown. Failure is loud, it's visible, but it leaves behind this incredible data, these lessons that make you sharper for the next time. Regret, on the other hand, is silent. It's invisible. It's the weight of the ideas you never shared and the chances you never took. In your career, the real risk isn't trying and failing. It's never trying at all and being left with just silence. And that brings us to our second framework. This is not about being reckless. It's not about taking these wild, irresponsible risks. Real, sustainable growth is about consistent, intentional movement. It's built on a foundation of small, courageous choices that you make day in and day out. So think of this as your bridge from comfort to growth. Every single one of these steps, yeah, it feels a little uncomfortable, but none of them are reckless. It's about asking for that stretch project, sharing that half-formed idea, speaking up in the meeting when it's so much easier to stay quiet. These are the small braveries that compound into really significant growth over time. All right, let's make this personal. We've talked about the theory, now it's time to put it into practice. This next section is all about your courageous next step. I want you to take just a second and really think about this. Is there a project, a conversation, or an opportunity that you're avoiding simply because it feels safer to stay put? Just be honest with yourself. Identifying that one area, that's the starting line for everything else. Okay, so commit to one small action. Not next month, this week. Look at this list and just pick one. The goal isn't some massive transformation overnight. It's just about creating a little bit of momentum. Courage is a muscle, and this right here, this is your first rep. And finally, in our last section, let's elevate this whole conversation. Because once you start challenging your own comfort zone, you create this amazing ripple effect that goes way beyond just you. When you choose courage, your whole posture changes. You stop waiting for someone else to tell you it's okay, and you start taking ownership of your own path. You shift your focus from looking for external approval to making sure your actions are aligned with your own potential. And that
That builds this deep self-respect, and it inspires the people all around you to do the same thing.
And that brings us to what I think is the most important takeaway of all. Individual achievement is great, for sure, but true impact, it's measured a little differently. Your courage gives other people permission to be courageous. Your growth creates new pathways for other people to grow. So as you take your next brave step, don't just ask what it does for you. Ask who it empowers alongside you. Who are you enabling today?